Hello everyone, welcome to Conjunctions in Astrology. Ketu, or the south node of the moon, in conjunction with Mars in your chart. What happens in this case? I have all the details on the video, including readings from sign and house. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below, and if the video is good for you, give it a thumbs up. Let's begin. First of all, what is a conjunction in astrology? You may think you have a conjunction of Ketu, the south node, with Mars, but you may not have. A conjunction in the ancient Vedic system is about planets being in the same sign together, because a sign equals a house. So, if two or more planets are in the same sign, no matter how far apart they are by degree, they are in conjunction. But if one planet is 29 degrees of one sign, let's say, and the other planet at 0 of the next sign, that's not a conjunction, even though they are only 1 degree apart in space, because they are in different signs, therefore different houses, with a completely different lord. Another point to consider is the nakshatra. If planets are in a different nakshatra but in the same sign, are they still forming conjunction? Most definitely they are, because the nakshatra just gives them an internal experience, but they're still in the same sign, they're still sharing the experience of that house, and they are still in a conjunction. So if you have Ketu, the south node, with Mars in the same sidereal sign, you have a conjunction of these planets, a powerful combination. Let's begin by understanding the energies involved. And who then is Ketu? Ketu is the south node of the moon, a disembodied or shadow planet. He is actually the bottom half or the body form of Shwabhanu, the demon who was decapitated by Vishnu. The head is Rahu and the body is Ketu. But unlike Rahu, the head of the snake, who is the cause of our rebirth, Ketu is the cause of moksha. He takes us out of this material world. He gives us liberation. This means that metaphysically speaking, Ketu is actually walking in the opposite direction to all the other grahas, because they can keep us immersed in this material world. Even Guru Jupiter can make us proud of our knowledge, etc., etc. But for Ketu, he just will not give you anything but the truth of the situation. Ketu wipes away the scales of illusion from your eyes. He helps you to see this Maya for actually what it is. He therefore breaks the bonds of material desire. So for those who are spiritually inclined and truly desire liberation, Ketu is the greatest friend. But for those who are materially entangled, he is acting in a very malefic way. He will cause all sorts of loss, disillusion, and trouble in your life because of necessity. He does not want to get you more entangled with your desires. And who then is Mars? Mars is known as Mongol in the Vedic system. He is the son of the earth herself. He is associated with Kartikeya, the general of the army of the gods. He's a fighter for justice, a true warrior, a policeman to the universe. He guards the weak and he protects the family. He is full of stamina, willpower, energy, courage, and endurance, and he gives these qualities to us when he is well placed in our chart. He is also the karaka for land, home, brother, sporting activities, computers, and mathematics. When afflicted, he can actually bring violence, anger, and unrestrained energy. Therefore, Mars needs to be controlled in our chart for best effect. What's going to happen then when Ketu and Mars get together? As you can see, there is a conflicting energy, most definitely. Mars is fighting in this world, completely engaged in this material energy, whereas Ketu is going away from it. But at the same time, they are both represented by Agni Tattva, by the fire element. Ketu is very much akin to Mars. Now, you may have heard that this is also an Angarak Yoga, similar to Rahu with Mars, but that's not the case at all. A planet cannot be with both Rahu and Ketu. So Mars is with Ketu. He is not having aspect on Rahu because Rahu and Ketu are one being. It is, however, an extremely powerful conjunction and one that is often deeply misunderstood. On this video, I'm going to show you a great secret about this conjunction that perhaps you've not heard before. But let's start with the general tendencies of Mars conjunct to Ketu. Ketu is the flag. It's what you've achieved past life. It's what you feel comfortable with, what you've already won and achieved. And with Mars, it shows you have been involved in conflict situation, even violence, even battle-like situations, maybe even warfare itself. So you are used to being involved in competing and defeating enemies. What tends to be left over in this life is a real tendency to engage in conflict continually, perhaps in situations that really shouldn't be engaged in that manner. So it can manifest in so many ways depending on the sign and the house, etc. What you will generally see is a very competitive nature. It's just inborn into you. If you think about it, everything becomes a battle in life. And this will apply to actually every single area of your life. So let's say you're just doing the housework. You will do it in a form of a battle. It becomes a warfare to you. You're defeating the dust. You're defeating the dirt in the house. You have this attitude of attack. And this attitude of attacking a situation, having to win the war, applies to almost everything. As I say, relationships, friendships, work situations. As soon as there is the glimmer of any competition or any danger, you put on your armor and you're ready for the war. Now, there is a positive side to this because people with this Mars Ketu can be fearless. They can be that sort of mission impossible person who will overcome any obstacle to get the desired result. And if there is a danger situation, if there is an emergency, a Mars Ketu person can be excellent to have around. They have an excellent sense of strategy, what to do to get out of a dangerous situation. There can be no better person. These people also have a very strong love of debate, a love of argument, all about arguing their stand on any belief system, philosophy, situation. Whatever it is, if they want to argue with you, beware. They will leave no stone unturned, and they will literally enjoy it because it's another form of a battle. If this conjunction is positively placed and has good aspects and is not too afflicted, you can go into armed forces and do well. You can be good at computers, mathematics, engineering, all of the Mars factors. You have skill from past life. Also, because Mars is Karaka for brother, very often there's a very special karma with your brothers. This can be younger or older brothers. Basically, they can be lost to you, unknown to you, even found later in life because Ketu equals hidden things. Or there can be discord, separation, all of these things. But sometimes there's an incredibly close bond there as well. Either way, it's all coming in from past life karmas that are being resolved in this lifetime. So they're the general indications you will see very often, no matter where or how this conjunction is placed, because it's the energy of Mars coming together with Ketu. It's a very extreme energy. But you should know the great secret behind this conjunction. You might think that two fire tattva elements coming together means that the fire is increased. There is more anger, more disturbance, more aggression, but actually the truth is a little bit more like the opposite. You see, when you have two fires like this together, one of them will actually become depleted, almost extinguished. How can this happen? It's just like in physical reality. You must have seen this. Sometimes when there's a great fire, firefighters create a smaller fire to suck the oxygen out of the larger fire, which becomes diminished. So what's going to happen is Ketu and Mars getting together. One of these entities, the fire is going to be lowered. The fire is almost virtually going to be extinguished. Can you guess who it will be? Well, you're right if you say Mars, because Ketu can never be extinguished. Ketu is our path to liberation. What would happen if his fire was taken away? If the door to liberation from material existence was closed? No, Mars becomes depleted and extinguished here. Now, what does this mean in reality? All of the things I've said are still true. The irritability, the anger, the argumentative nature, the desire to fight almost every situation in life is all there. But because Mars energy has been depleted in this way, acting out in these aggressive and angry and irritated ways tend to have a very negative effect on your psyche. That could be true for everyone, but it's especially true for yourself. And occasionally, under affliction in the chart, extremely aggressive and violent people can have this conjunction. But at some point, it will kick in some extremely negative karmas for them. It's something which cannot be sustained. Therefore, very often you will see that with this Mars Ketu, people become attracted to ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. They can easily become vegetarian. And the closer this conjunction is, the more likely that is the case. They will abhor all sorts of violence. They are putting their energy, their fighting energy, to the underdog, helping those who need help, particularly non-human animals, people who are in struggle, poverty and distress, and people who are sick. So they will do everything they can to help those who are in need. And this is all to the good, because Mars is with Ketu. By acting in this way, the doors to liberation, the path to liberation, becomes ever closer. Let's look at the sign placements, everybody, starting with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If you have Mars and Ketu in these signs, the past life tendency of anger, irritability, and all the things I've talked about is extremely strong. I mean, you've got to transform this energy here and now, because as I've just said, Mars is still depleted, even though he is happy in all of these signs, as is Ketu. But the ability is there without doubt to fight for the underdog, to fight for those who need your energy. So constructively using Mars energy in a non-egotistical way with the highest wisdom that Ketu is giving you, this is the promise of Mars and Ketu in the fire signs. However, when you have Mars and Ketu in the air signs, it becomes difficult for you. When you have Mars and Ketu in Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You see, in all of these signs, both Mars and Ketu are not happy. They are both at a disadvantage. When it's in Gemini, communication problems, travel issues, a real restless nature, going around in circles, wandering, just not able to stabilize the life. You need to take meditation course, find a way to calm down the mind. When it's in Libra, relationships suffer because there is unspoken anger and so many issues need to be sorted. In Aquarius, you can feel deeply misunderstood, especially in your network circles, friendship circles. Sometimes friends become lost for life and actually cause you some distress. It can be challenging too to have Ketu and Mars in the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. Not so much Capricorn though. Taurus, this is a struggle for you because your Mars energy is so determined, so stubborn, and Ketu wants to release you from this stubbornness, wants to set you free from this grasping nature. So you can find yourself going round and round in circles, trying to keep things as they are, when really you need to learn to let go. Virgo, Ketu and Mars gives you great technical skill, but are you just grinding yourself down in the same old routine? Ketu wants you to put your service to good use to others. So really it's about being a real practical helper to others and not getting so wound up in self-criticism. In Capricorn, where Mars is mightily strong, you can get yourself into power struggles. In your career particularly, be really careful. Learn to turn away from these unnecessary and really draining situations. The transformative potential of the conjunction I've spoken about on the video, it's so strong in the water signs, in Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. Here Ketu is strong and will win the war with Mars. He will take you to the higher knowledge and wisdom. Will you go down the path? That's the question. You will definitely have occult knowledge to a great degree from past life, including talent in astrology. But there are trials to overcome. There is always the necessity to control this Mars energy. So in Cancer, it's over-emotionalism, impulsivity, which is affecting family affairs in a negative way. In Scorpio, it's the strong ego, the possessiveness, obsessional, and even jealous nature, which is not helping you reach to your higher potential. And in Pisces, it's a lack of direction, inability to commit yourself to your spiritual path. But in all of these signs, Ketu can take you to the highest spiritual wisdom. Do not lose this opportunity. Next to house placements, when you have Mars and Ketu in the 1, 4, 7, 10 axis, that's the Kendra houses, you should know that Rahu opposite forms a Sarpa dosh. What is this? It means that in this lifetime there is a spiritual evolution that cannot be avoided happening. It will dominate your whole existence. So check the playlist below to understand more of these Rahu Ketu positions. Mars and Ketu in the first house, what an active life. You're always on the move, you're always doing something different, but are you simply going round in circles? Ketu makes you eternally dissatisfied with material existence, and yet Mars is pushing you forward as you've always been in past lives. So time to sit still, time to calm down in this lifetime and think about what you are really hoping to achieve. Mars and Ketu in the 4th house can take you into foreign land in this lifetime for some of you, depending on aspects, because this disturbs the early home environment and your feeling of safety and security in your country of origin. Even the bond with the mother can be disturbed. Mars and Ketu 10th house, very varied career, always switching, always changing, conflict with superiors, conflict with co-workers. Are you really putting your effort into your leadership skills though? Mars Ketu here shows that you do have these skills, but you may not believe in them. Mars and Ketu in the 7th house, karmic relationship situations, unfinished business coming back to you in spousal relationships. There can be anger, there can be difficulty, there can be disagreement that's very hard to resolve in some relationships. Learn to let go, learn to stop asserting your desires too much. Patience and kindness will help you overcome many situations. Mars and Ketu is tricky in the 5th house of the chart because Mars makes you quite lusty in this position, e.g. you're always physically attracted to people romantically, and depending on a chart, and with Ketu here, it can get you into some no-win situations. You have to think about this. Difficulty with a child also can be seen. Mars and Ketu in the 9th house get you into conflict with your father, or with your guru, with your teacher. It's all happening because you're highly independent in your intellectual life, but you have great knowledge, tremendous intuition. Try not to become fanatical in some religious situation. It will never work well. In both the 3rd and 11th houses, you have to learn to compromise because Mars is extremely strong in both the 3rd and 11th. Your ego is strong. Your argumentative nature can be over the top sometimes. You can get into all sorts of difficult disputes that can go on endlessly and never seem to find resolution. In addition, Mars and Ketu in the 3rd house give you communication skills, skills in writing, journalism, media, etc. But every time you win these petty arguments, whatever it is, it leaves a nasty taste in your mouth. It doesn't truly satisfy you. Let the ego calm down and listen to others more. With Mars and Ketu in the 11th house, you put so much energy into attaining your desires, and you will attain them if it is well placed by sign. But then Ketu comes up and says, no, this is not going to satisfy you. So a huge dissatisfaction with attaining aims in life is really going to happen here. What you have to do, of course, is to put your energy to helping others, to pursuing their aims, their goals, and by doing this, you will finally find satisfaction. In the 2nd house, Mars and Ketu shows insecurity in that very early family life, which stays with you and actually makes you determined to build security and resources for yourself. You can have power with this, but because Ketu is here, the more effort you put into holding on to things, keeping things steady, the more things slip through your fingers. Learn to have faith that you are always provided for. This inner spiritual knowledge and getting in touch with your divine protection will help you, because the more you hold on to things with this position, the more you tend to lose them. Mars and Ketu 6th house, enormous talent in legal and medical fields. You see the problems and you know how to solve them. You can be very talented in sussing out really other people's motivations, which makes enemies, well, basically they better run a mile because you can see what they are doing, right? But here's the problem. Are you continually fighting in life? Are you fighting so much that your own energy is becoming depleted? You have to think about this. In the 8th and 12th house, what spiritual wisdom, what ability to study astrology, occult science, etc. very strongly shown. Mars and Ketu in the 8th house gives great determination financially. You can do wonders with joint finances, savings, business matters, financial investments. You can go to the heights here and build up great resources for yourself. But at some point there's going to be a big change, a big turnaround. So be prepared for this. This is the point at which Ketu makes you realize that nothing in this world is permanent, and it turns you deeply into your spiritual wisdom. Mars and Ketu in the 12th house. Ketu knows the path to liberation here. He's on the path, he's on the way out, but Mars is pulling you back all the time. Your anger and your negativity are your worst enemies. You can have sleepless nights, insomnia, difficulty relaxing with this position, but your dreams give you the most tremendous insight, sometimes even into your past lives. Check out the karmas of your Rahu Ketu house position playlist on your screen, and also the karmas of Mars by sign. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.